With FNCS groups officially starting tomorrow, I thought why not make an official video of everything you need to know before the group stages actually start, including who is in what group, what you actually need to do to be able to qualify for grand finals, and my predictions on who I think is going to be making it out of each of the group stages on both NA and EU. Real quick before video starts though, please subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as we are on the road to 100,000 subscribers now. If you guys want to support me even more, the best way to do so is by using code KDOG in the Fortnite item shop. Without further ado though, let's start off this video by just quickly explaining how these group stages are actually going to work. So starting off with, there is 3 separate group stages for NA and EU. All of these stages are basically already set. I'll put a picture up on the screen so you guys can see like the full groups right here. I am going to be going so much more into detail into this though throughout this video, so don't worry if this is like overwhelming right now. What you have to do to be able to qualify for grands out of one of these groups is you either have to be the top 5 trio in consistency, or you have to win 1 out of the 5 games that are played inside of your group. So that means that you're gonna have to get technically like top 10 on the leaderboard, I guess, but it is the top 5 most consistent teams that were not able to get a win. And since that is going to be 10 teams in each group, that will total up to 30 total trios in grand finals. And then the final 3 trios that we get are going to come from the actual reboot round or the last chance qualifier. Let's start off by looking at the map for group 1 on NA. I said this in my last video though, but this is definitely the weakest group in all of NA. I think there is only maybe like one arguable top 5 trio on the entire region in this group, and that is the trio of Clix, Batman Booga, and Yamzo. Other than that, this group is really pretty much just mid. If we go over some of the teams that are contested, we have like Bryce, Vert, and Reet versus Shakes, Void, and Afonso. I'm not 100% sure too much about anything about that other trio, so I think Reet should be able to get the job done there. And then there isn't really too much other like super big off spawn fights. Most of the good teams are uncontested, like Clix trio is uncon, Shadow Curve and Tyler are uncon, even like Asian Jeff is uncon as well. So if I had to go into my actual wins predictions for group 1, I think the thing with win predictions is you have to have like 2, maybe even 3 teams that are going to be like a surprise win team. It's never always just like the best trios are the one that are winning. I think some people that are definitely guaranteed to get a win though is like Clix, Yamzo, and Batman Booga. I really don't see any way that they don't make it out of this heat into grand finals, whether it is through a win or consistency. If these guys are not able to make it to grands from the weakest group, then that would probably be one of the like biggest flops in Fortnite history, I'm not gonna lie. Another team that I think is going to pull off a win is the trio of Cease, Blake, and Jack. Now you could be like, oh, the Unk squad's gonna get a win, and I mean, I think that they will be able to. These guys are like very experienced players. Blake has played in so many grand finals, so has Cease. And the thing about a format that rewards you getting a win, any team that like knows how to play high ground is always going to be at an advantage in this. So I think Blake's trio is going to be the second trio to get a win. Now I'm not predicting these based on like which game they're gonna get a win or anything. I just think these are the general teams that are going to win. The third team that I'm predicting is the brand new trio of Donnie, Mason, and Chance. Now these guys have Twinkle Terrence completely uncontested. Donnie is also now on 0 ping, and the trio that is landing under him at Night Shift Forest is going to be conned, flicking it like free surge tags and everything like that. I think the way that a lot of these teams are going to get wins is when some of the like bigger trios are able to get wins, they are not able to play any more games after that, so their drop spot will become completely uncontested. So then any trio that's like contested at their drop spot right now can literally just leave and then land at the new uncon spot. But the 4th trio I have getting a win is Visuals, Braids, and Diminished. They are one of my like random teams that I think will be able to get a win. I do think they are a very good team, but a trio that I think is super underrated that will pull off a win is the Mexican goats of Zeus, Creon, and Tony. Moving on to the actual consistency though, the first team I'm gonna put there is Shadow Curve and Tyler. They're landing at the best drop spot. I just don't really see this team as like a win getting team, but I do definitely think they're a very consistent team, and they should be like first in consistency, I feel like. Next I'm gonna go with Seek, G Money, and Osid. Third I'm gonna have Bryce, Reet, and Vert. And then my 2 like more random teams is going to be Death, Sales, and Encrypted, and then Asian Jeff, Alo, and Krillian. Heats definitely are one of the hardest things to predict in all of Fortnite, so if I'm even able to go like 70% on my predictions, I will still be very happy. Remember to let me know your guys' own predictions in the comment section down below. And let's actually move on to group 2 now. Now in group 2, this is like without a doubt the best group in all of NA. It has the best trio in the world, arguably the second best trio on NA, and so many good other teams as well. We don't really have any super big names that are going to be struggling with being contested in this. So starting off with the teams that I think are going to get a win, I think some of these are very obvious, like Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual. I think they get the job done pretty early. Another team that I think is a potential game 1 winner is the new trio of Rise, Muzz, and Yapko. This trio, just like Clix's trio, has looked really good in like Eval Cup finals, where the only thing that really matters is getting wins. I think another team that will probably be able to pull off a win in 5 games is the trio of Aviv, Buget, and Threats. These guys are just another trio that know how to play high ground, and I think they are pretty much guaranteed to make grands, whether it is through a win or consistency. And then my 2 random trios are going to be Aoxy, Jojo, and Pikes. And then the OG of Macwood playing with Cam and Bacon. I think Macwood will be able to IGL at least 1 game win. He is just the veteran of this lobby, and I think that he will be able to like get on high ground at some point and pull off a win. Now that does mean that I do have some super good trios in my consistency spot because I don't think they're gonna get a win. I just don't want to put like the best trios to always get wins because that's just never really how it goes. But in first place in my consistency, I'm gonna go with Cooper, Vidil, and Sphinx. I'm not saying it's impossible for them to get a win. I'm just trying to mix some things up here. Another trio that I think will call off consistency is Victor V, Skittles, and Chimp. Then I have 3 kind of like underrated teams of Ozone, Void, and Golden, Nut, Liam, and Fredbot, and then Sonetto, Veer, and Scare. Let's actually move on to group 3 now, and this group does have a couple of big names that are contested currently, like Acorn, Adrian, and Poyo being contested by Most, Threads, and Serum, but I wouldn't be surprised if these guys leave before the actual group stages start, or if they're just getting completely wiped off spawn. And then the other big one is Oliver OG, Dash, and Skater versus Noah W Plays, DC, and Chaos. I think these guys are both 2 grand finals qualities trios, and you will see in my predictions what I actually think is going to happen with them. But let's start off with my game winners. I think some of them that are very obvious is like Kanata, Rapid, and Bolts. Even though this trio is clearly not taking the game super serious this season, this is still a team that knows how to pull off game wins, and I think they will have pretty much no problem doing so. The next trio I have is Acorn, Poyo, and Agers. I think they're going to get free Storm Surge off spawn, be able to be looted up, and then end up winning a game. The next trio that I have like no doubt that will be in grand finals is Noxy, Virgo, and Curly. This has honestly been a super underrated team the last couple weeks. These guys have looked super good, and I think they definitely are a grand finals team. And then my 2 like maybe surprise winners are going to be Noah W Plays, Chaos, and DC Awesomer, and then Degen, Sandman, and Havoc. I think we're going to get a little surprise win from Noah here. And then I always just feel like Sandman and Havoc somehow find their way into grand finals. So I think they're going to be able to pull off maybe like a game 5 win or something like that. Now for the consistency, I think the most consistent trio is going to be Quanti, Bila, and Edgy. This is another trio though that I really wouldn't be surprised if they're able to win a game. The next trio I'm going to have in my consistency spot is Bucky, Okus, and Craze. I think Bucky finally does end his grand finals drought and he's able to get in after he plays this heat. They are currently uncontested, and this isn't even like the strongest heat either. So I think Bucky does have a real chance of being able to make it. Another team that I could see as a surprise winner, but I decided to put them in my consistency, is Inpin, Taki, and Eshu. And then my final 2 spots are an underrated trio of Dragon, Rojo, and Fishy. And then I do think Oliver OG, Dash, and Skater end up getting in. I think the trio that is contesting each other between Noah W Plays versus Oliver OG, I think they are both able to get into grand finals. I think one of them will either change up their drop spots or be able to win a game. And then I'm really hoping that we are able to see both these teams in grand finals. That is all for NA though, so let's actually move on to EU now. Now EU, I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot harder just because there was so much more like high quality teams on EU, I feel like, compared to on NA, which I feel like is very top heavy, where there was like maybe the 7 or 8 best trios, and then everybody else is kind of just like, yeah, I could maybe see it. But on EU, starting off with in group 1, this group also doesn't really have any like crazy teams that are going to be contested. So the teams that I think are going to be able to pull off the win is first of iDrop, Sky, and Scroll. These guys have been on an absolute tear recently, winning the final trio catch cup, winning the play-in. I think they are very due for a win sometime in the 5 games. Next up, I have Tayson, Trulex, and Chicho. You know you can't have a grand finals without Tayson in it. I think he would definitely be able to pull off a win. Then we have a trio that I have been arguing to be the 3rd best trio on all of EU of Vania, Pixie, and Marius. They will make it to grands, whether it is through consistency or being able to get a win. And then my 2 surprise teams that I have getting a win is Godetty, Scary, and Joni, and Fanayan, Axe Force, and Robon. This heat, I'm not gonna lie, was kind of hard to pick some surprise winners, but those are the teams that I went for. So let's see how they actually do once heats start. Then for my consistency, I have Shark, Zhu, and Ziandi in first, Pristini and Skavi in second. Then I have Perdej, Radion, and Rax, Robon, Haijo, and Trexer, and then Cringe, Mappy, and Cade. Moving on to Group 2 though, I think Group 1 and Group 2 are kind of even in terms of difficulty level. But if we look at some of the big names that are contested, we do have like Pixstar and Demus being contested by Kurma. And then we also have like a triple contest between Faded Pigeon, Dre, and Alba. The teams that I think are going to be able to pull off wins though is the trios of Queasy, Swizzy, and Mustache. I feel like this one should always just be a given. Queasy is literally known as the high ground king, and these guys are going to be uncontested. They could very well be a game 1 winner. Next up, I'm gonna go with Pixstar and Demus. After that, I'm gonna go with the trio of Yandis, Noah, Riley, and Chap. And then my 2 surprise teams are going to be Floki, Clement, and Sloxzay. And then I'm actually gonna throw a complete curveball and say Faded Pigeon, Turtle, and Vigera are able to get the 5th game win. Now my consistency teams are going to be Pink, Nebs, and Chino, Akira, Podesai, and X-Sweeze, Pablo, Kiro, and Bevies, and Alex, Marco, and Sato, and Nathan, CZB, and Eclipse. I honestly think these are pretty good predictions. I do really want to hear if you guys have any objections to anything I'm saying though in the comment section down below, so don't be afraid to let me know your guys' opinion. Finally though, let's move on to Group 3 now, which is definitely the best group on all of EU. My game winners are going to be Vigo, Vino, Flixie, Hingwalk, Smalabuka, Tripper, and Thomas HG, and Ferdoxy. And then my 2 surprise teams will be Blaha, Mixon, and Combeck, and Finnick, Contry, and Uppel. Now I think this heat definitely has arguably the 3 best trios in all of EU. I do also have what I think is the second best team on EU, not getting in from a win, but getting in from consistency, of Cammy, Seti, and Hari. The next team that I think gets in from consistency is actually Mongrel, Mr. Savage, and Panzer. I think we will see these guys in grand finals. They are landing at the Bird once again, and they are currently uncontested there as well. I think as long as this team is able to stay uncon, and if they are able to cook up some good strategies with BloodX, we will 100% be able to see them make grand finals. And especially since there isn't any other like super good Bird teams either in all of EU, besides like Huddy's trio, but they weren't even able to qualify for groups, then they have a real chance of being uncontested in grand finals. The other 3 trios I have getting in there off consistency is Skyjump, Momsy, and Shaycause, Moneymaker Clown, and Gudem. And then the final team is Wheat, Howley, and Dan DePuzo. Those were all my predictions though. Remember, let me know your guys' thoughts on everything I went over in today's video. If you guys have any more questions about the group stage, don't be afraid to let me know in the comment section down below. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new though, as we are on the road to 100,000 subscribers now. If you guys want to support me even more, the best way to do so is by using code KDOG in the Fortnite item shop. YouTube says don't enjoy 1 of 2 videos up on the screen right now, so go check them out if you guys haven't already. Follow me on my Twitter at ChiliKDog to keep up to date with everything to do with Fortnite competitive. Thank God for another day, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.